Good afternoon. This is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jared Horak. This video we're going to preview the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. They have the pre-entries in now. 19 horses have been pre-entered in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We're going to talk about their chances in the Juvenile, and then maybe horses that I think are going to do better next year when they turn 3, and then right on to the Kentucky Derby Trail. Let's go in alphabetical order here. Brody's Cause. He's going to be the first one I'm going to talk about, and I've always liked this one. He was part of my original Derby list that I put out September 30th. And if you want to see that, my first Derby list, and then I'm going to update it as well, you go over to HorseRacingNation.wordpress.com to see that my top 11 Derby contenders in this early stage. But Brody's Cause, first time out, tried turf, didn't do anything, and he took money. But then they put him on dirt, and he was sensational from off the pace in both races, breaking his maiden at Churchill Downs, beating Conquest Big E, and then winning the Breeders' Futurity Stakes, rallying from 10th place. Obviously, and that was at Keeneland as well, so he has that good race over the track, and I think that he's going to be a big threat from off the pace in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, especially if he gets enough pace help. If he gets a good amount of pace help, he's going to be hard to hold off in the stretch. Cocked and Loaded is another one that's in there, and he won the Iroquois Stakes at Churchill Downs last time, rallied from off the pace. I'm not sold on the Iroquois Stakes as a strong prep. It hasn't been a strong prep recently, and then this year the number was nothing special. I don't like the horses as much coming out of that race. I know that Rated R Superstar, who was second, did come back and run third in the Breeders' Futurity, but I'm not really sold on the Iroquois overall as a strong prep for this Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Exaggerator for trainer Keith DeSormo. This one finished second in the Breeders' Futurity, and his speed figures are on the way up. He's certainly improving, just like Brody's Cause. The difference between Brody's Cause and Exaggerator has more tactical speed. So this one, he should get the jump on the closers. He's going to sit a stalking trip in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile most likely, and he'll try to take the lead and get a jump on the late runners, and he certainly has a decent shot. I like that he's stretched out in distance each race. He's gone from 5 furlongs to 6 to 6.5 to 1 mile and a 16th. And he was off of a layoff as well in the Breeders' Futurity. So now second two-turn start, second start off of a layoff. He's going to get the jump on the closers. He's certainly one that you want to consider a solid threat in the Juvenile. Greenpoint Crusader, another one that was part of my original Derby list when I posted that on September 30th. I like this one's pedigree early on. Bernardini, Crypto Clearance, certainly bred to be a good one and get better as he gets older. And he's had some nice progress so far. 5.5 furlongs in the debut, he was beaten the neck. Then he won at 7 furlongs second time out. 1 mile in the slop in the Champagne, he was excellent. He rallied from 6th place. He won by 4.5 lengths going away under Joe Bravo. He's going to be a big threat. It was a wet track in the Champagne, but I don't think that the wet track had anything to do with it. This horse with a strong pedigree, certainly going to be one to look at, I think, in the Juvenile and then on next year as well. If he's able to stay healthy, he's got the pedigree, he's got a good style, he's got a lot going for him, hopefully as a long-term Derby contender. Hollywood Don and Isotherm, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile is their second preference that they want to run in the turf race, so they may end up not going in this spot. Hollywood Don did run in the front runner, and he was third, but he was a well-beaten third, and I think that Hollywood Don and Isotherm, they have a better shot if they end up running on the turf. Nyquist is one I'm going to try to beat. He's undefeated. He's probably going to be the Juvenile favorite. He's stretched out in distance each time, and he's won each time, but his speed figure went down in the front runner, and his margin of victory went down as well. He easily won the Best Pal in Del Mar Futurity, and it looked like a lot of hope going into the front runner. You would have liked to have seen him run faster. He did win the race, but he didn't run fast, as I said. He beat Swipe, a horse that he was beating easily in sprints, but he didn't beat that one quite as easily in the front runner. So I think that he was an early bloomer, up like a miler type, like a Golden Sense type maybe even for Doug O'Neill. Kind of reminds me of that one where I think he's going to have problems in longer races, but he does have a lot of talent. He's got some speed. He'll make his presence felt. And then Doug O'Neill also has Rayless in this race. This one, he disappointed in the Champagne. His speed figures were going up. He won the Hopeful Stakes when he shipped from Del Mar to Saratoga. He won that one by almost 6 lengths. Coming into the Champagne, looked like he was poised to run a big race. Pressed the pace, and then he faded 6th by 15. Maybe he didn't like the sloppy track, but I think he should have run better in that race. And I don't know which way he's going to go here. He's certainly better than he was in the Champaign. Maybe he's not as good as he looked in the Hopeful. I don't know. He could run better. He'll be a pace factor, but I would be surprised if he just completely reversed it and won the race. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ran a better race. Rated R Superstar, we mentioned for trainer Ken McPeek. He was 3rd in the Breeders' Futurity, 2nd in the Iroquois. So he's in back-to-back races. He's earned Kentucky Derby points. His speed figures, they've been pretty flat. From the Iroquois to the Breeders' Futurity, he earned the same number. And he would have to really step up. So he has more experience than these around 2 turns. He's got those two-turn races, but seems to be a cut below the best. Riker, coming in from Woodbine, is a bit interesting. He's undefeated at Woodbine. He won his debut at 5 furlongs on Polytrack, and then he won at 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, and then in the Gray Stakes at a mile and a 16th against 4 rivals, went out there, controlled the pace, and he won comfortably by a length and a half. Now he's going to try dirt for the first time. He's going to show some speed, but others will probably show some speed as well. We'll get a better gauge on how good he is when he runs in this race. His speed figures are a little bit light. Maybe he'll be better on the dirt. I don't know. His sire Include, that gives him hope to handle the main track. The Dam sire Unreal Zeal is more sprint oriented. I don't like him in the juvenile that much, but we'll get a better gauge of his true talents in that race when he tries dirt for the first time. Sticks, Stately Dude, he was 4th in the Breeders' Futurity. Not a bad effort. His first start around 2 turns, and he came off of a layoff. So like Exaggerator, a 2nd off the layoff, 2nd around 2 turns. He's one that's interesting for the exotics, I think. I think it would be a little bit of a stretch if he won the race, but for the exotics, he can certainly move up a little bit, and he's going to be a good price. And I think if you're playing tries and supers, I think you want to throw him in. A Swipe for trainer Keith DeSormo, we mentioned that one as well, running against Nyquist. He was 5 lengths back in the Best Pal behind Nyquist, finishing 2nd. Del Mar Futurity, he was almost 4 lengths behind that one. And then in the front runner, he was right there with Nyquist on the wire, only 3/4 of a length back. And his pedigree, a Birdstone, a Grand Slam on the Dan side, certainly bred to handle a distance. And this one, he's got a lot of experience too. He's already run 6 times, but only has 1 win. I wouldn't be shocked if he came in, but since I don't like Nyquist and the race wasn't fast, I really don't like him either. Tale of Saval is the next one for trainer Barclay Tagg. He won his debut at Saratoga, looked good. That was at 6 furlongs, and then the runner-up came back to win out of that one. And then he was 4-1 in the Champagne. He dueled on the lead, and he ended up weakening to finish 5th. He's slightly raced, he's got some promise, but I think that long-term prospect, I think he's going to be good. But for the juvenile, I don't think he's ready for a race like this. Unbridled Outlaw is the next one for trainer Dale Romans. He also has Brody's Cause. He likes this one quite a bit. Finished 3rd in his debut. Sticks, Stately Dude was 2nd in that race. And then he beat Rated R Superstar 2nd time out. That was at Ellis Park to break his maiden. And then he was 3rd in the Iroquois. Got a decent amount of pace help, rallied for 3rd. One that I think, again, a long-term prospect. If you're looking at Derby contenders for next year, I think he'll continue to develop, but I don't think he's ready to beat a field like this at this stage. Conquest Big E, he needs some help to get in. He's like, he'll actually be the 15th one, but he should be able to get in the race. Since, as I said, Hollywood Don and Isotherm are both the juvenile 2nd preference. They're in the main body of the race, but they want to run in the turf race. And Conquest Big E, I'm sure he'll get in the race. And this is one that was part of my original Derby list. I really liked him. His debut at Churchill Downs, finished a good 2nd. He had some trouble at the start, rallied, took the lead, and then Brody's Cause ran him down. That was a good effort. And then 2nd time out, visually impressive at Keeneland at a mile and a 16th in the slop on October 2nd. He rallied from 5th place to win nicely by more than 2 lengths. And then the runner-up came back and won a maiden claiming $75,000 race in his next start. As a Conquest Biggie, he has a lot of talent. Tappet, son of Tappet. Carson City on the Dam side, not quite as distance-oriented, but he's got should get some stamina from his sire. Obviously, he's already proven around 2 turns at Keeneland. That's a big plus. They had some problems with this one at Saratoga. Had some gate issues. They didn't start him there. They waited. And now he's certainly improving. And he's one for trainer Mark Casse that you really want to consider. I think for long-term more than juvenile. He's a live, long shot in the juvenile. I think I'll throw a few dollars on him on top and consider him a logical threat to win that one. But I think long-term prospect, this one has a stakes win in his future for sure. If you want to learn more about Conquest Big E, I suggest you go over to horseracingnation.com. Look for the webcast. They had a Breeders' Cup webcast Mark Casse and his son Norm were both on the webcast. They talked a lot about Conquest Big E. So I suggest watching that one if you want to learn more about Conquest Big E and Tepin and some of the other contenders for trainer Mark Casse in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And then these other horses probably won't end up getting in. Waterloo Bridge, Siding Spring, Fellowship, Tom's Ready. They all need some help to get in. Waterloo Bridge and Aidan O'Brien trainee. Siding Spring for Mark Casse. Fellowship for Stanley Gold coming in from Florida is a little bit interesting. Rallied from way back in the Florida Stallion races to win nicely by 4 lengths last time. And if he got in, I think you could throw him in the exotics, but they're going to need some help for sure. You're not going to get that many defections most likely in this race. So let's recap here. Your top contenders, I think, are Brody's Cause for sure. Speed figures going up. He's a $350,000 purchase. He has the best late pace figures in this field. Greenpoint Crusader, definitely $575,000 purchase. Ascending speed figure pattern, looked great in the Champagne. This is going to be his first start around 2 turns. The Champagne was 1 mile around 1 turn, but he's got a lot of talent. As I said, Conquest Big E as a live long shot. I think he's live. Experience is the main thing. He only has the 2 races coming out of a maiden race. He's giving up some experience to the others, but talent-wise, I think he fits there with the top contenders. And then Exaggerator, he's improving slowly for trainer Keith DeSarmo, and he'll sit the right stalking trip. That'll wrap up this video. You can go over to horseracing.wordpress.com to see all of my Kentucky Derby information. And we're gonna, every time we have a Derby points race, we're gonna have videos, and then we're gonna recap as well as we continue on the road to the Kentucky Derby. This is the big Breeders' Cup Juvenile here, and this could decide the 2-year-old championship as well. Until next time, good luck at the races.